Hey guys, it's Marvel Tyler again, and we are doing another Battlefield video. I'm kind of on a Battlefield spree right now. Hopefully fix the audio from yesterday's video, because I know for whatever reason it's been recording a little bit louder. Hopefully that's adjusted, but let's just get into the video. So I want to talk about modern versus historical Battlefield games. Now, of course, the original Battlefield 1942 was a historical game. It was 1942. It was World War II. And then we've had like Battlefield 3 and 4 and 2. Those were modern games. And it's always been a debate between people of, do you want the World War II, World War One, Vietnam, or Cold War, or whatever, or do you want modern? And we don't really talk about the futuristic one, the 2142. That's in a separate entity. And while I personally actually want another, a 2143, that's not today's video. So we'll talk about that at a different time. So right now, obviously, there is the split, modern versus historical. And truthfully, I just feel that both games clearly have their place. People are fans of each. I mean, they exist for a reason. People play them for a reason, and I don't think there's a bad thing with that. I don't think it's a bad thing for a series to have multiple different versions of itself and different, playgrounds and battlefields to explore and wars to explore. And, obviously, that's not a bad thing. That inherently, it's just not a bad thing. But I do have a preference. I have played both Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4. I played Battlefield 3. I didn't play too many before that, but, I do play both historical and modern games. And I don't know, I prefer the modern. It's just my play style. I prefer the weapons, the way the game plays. It's just kind of how it's gone. And obviously, I went more into detail on that in yesterday's video. So if you want to hear about why I prefer it, go to watch that video, because that's going to go into a little bit more detail. So it got me thinking that Battlefield's on this 2-year cycle right now. Every 2 years we get a Battlefield game, which I think is great. It's better than a 1-year cycle. It gives more time for development, more time to, live out the life of each game. Battlefield 1's been out for a while now. Plenty of expansions, plenty of, updates and everything. It's definitely lived its life, and it's still got another 5 months or so until the next Battlefield game. So I do think 2 years is a good, here and there, here and there. My idea is, what if we alternated between historical and modern set pieces for each 2 years? So that way, every 4 years, if you prefer one side or the other, every 4 years, which is plenty of time to, live out just playing that game, either die after, 2-3 years, or it'll be really good and just last all 4 years, and then you're hyped up for the next one. And that way, also, if you're just a diehard Battlefield fan, nothing changes. If you like both, you can just play both. You get the new game every 2 years. Nothing changed. You still have Battlefield coming out pretty frequently. I mean, that's a great thing. But like I said, going back to the dedicated fans of one genre or the other, if you prefer the historical games, we have Battlefield 1. And Battlefield 1's still getting new updates. It just recently got a new update with I think like the Tommy gun or something got added and a couple other things. And so Battlefield 1's still got some longevity. And if you're playing that game pretty regularly, you got another 2 years out of it. Because in this theory, we'd have a historical, or no, not historical, we'd have a modern game coming out this year. Which is just kind of, I prefer the modern. I'd really wish, Battlefield 5 or whatever they're going to call it. I really kind of hope it's going to be a modern game. I have no idea. Everything says World War II, and it probably makes sense for them to go World War II. But if it is a modern game, I'd prefer that. And then in 2 years, if they went to World War II or, Vietnam or whatever war they wanted to go to, that way the historical fans get their games every 4 years, modern fans get their games every 4 years, and it's also not the same game over and over again. One of the common criticisms of Battlefield 4 was that it was right after Battlefield 3. We had modern game, quickly followed by modern game. It was like, are we covering the same ground too fast? Are we, just going over the same thing really, really fast? Or maybe we separate it, we split it up, like this idea, and we have historical, and then we have modern, and then we have historical, and that way, you have different set pieces, and you're still able to explore different wars. When I say modern, it could be near future, like Battlefield 4, or maybe just a little bit into the future, or it could be a little bit back, go back 10 years, or I don't know, there's probably not that much change, but, you're not stuck in one genre, you're not stuck in one war, you're able to mix it up, and it just gives you different styles of gameplay. And again, this kind of goes into why I don't like Battlefield 1, but I love Battlefield 4, and that's why it's my preferred game to play. But I think it's potentially going to benefit everyone Also because you can hype up, it's been 3.5 years since Battlefield 1, in 2 years from now. It'll be 3.5 years since Battlefield 1, and we haven't had a historical Battlefield game in almost 4 years. And now we're returning to World War II, the long-awaited return. It's got to have a lot more hype than, hey, we got Battlefield 1 2 years ago. Now we're getting, Battlefield World War II in 2018. It's not saying that either of them would, be more successful than the other. Truthfully, I don't know what the stats or the statistics or whatever they're going to go into. But I do think it does benefit them, and you can hype it up. It's the long-awaited return. It's been a couple of years. And on top of that, every set of fans, if you're a hardcore Battlefield fan, you're going to play whatever it is regardless. Then you're going to play whatever it is regardless. You're getting multiple, you're not playing the same game over and over and over again like in Call of Duty when it was futuristic again and again and again and again. Instead, you're having historical, modern, Then maybe you can eventually throw in the, one of the spin-offs or whatever. But, and then if you're a Battlefield 1 historical fan, you get another Battlefield game. 4 years, it's had plenty of time to live out Battlefield 1's life. Battlefield modern fan. It's been 4 years since Battlefield 4, or the next one, or whatever it is. You have plenty of time to live that out, and now it's time for an update. The graphics are going to look way better because it's been several years. And of course, DICE always nails the graphics, and I just think it's a great system for everyone. I don't know, and maybe it's just because I personally just want Battlefield 2018 to be a modern, near-future game. I just want, kind of like Battlefield 4, but obviously updated, new, different, implement some of the changes from Battlefield 1. But seriously, let me know what you guys think, because, like I said, I'm on a Battlefield kick right now, and I love Battlefield, and I love to see it be more successful, and I want to see the games I prefer to play. But if you like historical, if you like modern, just let me know in the comments. Tell me what you think, if this is a good idea, if this is a really bad idea. Explain why, if you could. And otherwise, if you liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button. We do all kinds of gaming content, and I hope to see you guys in the game.